And Governor, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Great to be with you, Chris.
Back in 2005, you allowed the government of Minnesota to shut down for 9 days because of a disagreement with the Democratic legislature about taxes and spending. Should congressional Republicans take the same tough stance when it comes to raising the debt limit and federal spending?
Well, what I've learned, Chris, after 8 years of doing in a very liberal place, I love my state, but it's liberal in terms of spending and government, is you got to draw some lines in the sand. Chris Christie was just talking about it here a minute ago. Doesn't mean you always have to go have ultimate battle, but you got to be willing to stand up to a culture, to a history, to a pattern, in this case 21% spending in my state for 40 years, and say we're not doing that anymore. And I'm glad we had that showdown in Minnesota. And as to the federal government, they should not raise the debt ceiling. I believe they should pass legislation, allow them to sequence the spending as the revenues come in to make sure they don't default, and then have the debate about what other spending can be reduced.
But you would say to the Republicans up in that building behind me, do not raise the debt limit?
That's right. And in fact, to avoid the default, I would take it one step further, send the president a piece of legislation that authorizes the federal government to sequence the paying of its bills so that we don't default on the debt obligations, and then have the debate about how we reduce the other spending.
Okay.